Rocky said, hello everyone, we are back with episode 5. It's been a little while since we've been here. Some things have happened over the last month. A lot of craziness has ensued. So we apologize for being out. Gracie, do you want to talk about anything in particular that happened, or
lives have been turned upside down, essentially.
not just ours, but I've turned other people's lives upside down too.
Yeah. So the last time you heard from us, we were
In Madison.
Yeah. Okay. So we were in Virginia. That has changed.
Yeah.
So this is really Tyler's story, but for specific privacy reasons, we're not going to tell everything, but we do want to tell you guys a little bit about what happened.
I was basically asked to participate in illegal and unethical business practices that I did not agree with. Refused to do that, which is the second time in my career this has happened, and subsequently was fired. So, like I said, second time in my career this has happened to me. I don't know why I always get put in situations where I'm asked to do something illegal, but here we are. We're taking it day by day, looking for our next step. My next step, I guess. Gracie still got her job because she's not a bum like I am.
You're not a bum. Goodness.
But anyway, let's talk about the real stars of today's episode. Gracie,
Yes.
Tell them all about them.
So, we have 3 kids. You guys know them as Dutch, Belle, and Rocky. We have definitely talked about these 3 babies before, but we wanted to kind of give you a little bit of backstory. We gave you a backstory on us. We want to give you a backstory on them. We'll definitely talk a little bit about RV traveling with them as well. So, we're going to dive right on in.
Yeah. So I guess first up is the first one we got, not the oldest, but Dutch. Dutch has been a very important part of our lives.
Yeah. Let's just
you
start
tell
with
the story,
this.
because I think I've told the story on the podcast before, so now it's your turn to tell the story.
Let me start with saying that, so in the county that we live in, we have a no-kill... We have a no-kill shelter, which I love. Well, our roommates at the time had actually gotten, or were looking at, I think they
got him about 3 days before we got Dutch.
Okay, so we had all collectively decided we were going to get dogs, and we were all living together. So they had gotten the dog, and so we...
Cappers.
Okay, Captain. I'm definitely a rescue type of person, and Tyler really is too.
100%.
And so we went to the shelter, and we looked up dogs, because our shelter has a Facebook page. So we looked up dogs beforehand. There was a litter that came in of about 6 or 7 dogs during the holidays, and they named them after the reindeer. So Dutch's first name was Dasher. And Tyler loved Dutch online, and I was like, great, love it. So when we got there...
But first, there was another dog that I wanted from the New Hanover County.
That's right.
We went there first because on the way back, somebody got sick, and we had to pull over.
Because it was around New Year's, and we partied that night.
Yeah.
So we got to our other county, and we found Dasher, which was Dutch, and Tyler was like, well, we'll go look around. I said, no, we're not looking around. This is him. This is it. So Tyler walked around the freaking shelter. I stayed right there with Dutch.
But I didn't stop and look at any other dog or ask to see any other dog. I just wanted to make sure. I feel like that was a fair thing to do.
Well, I didn't leave our baby. And so now comes in where Tyler and Dutch's, I feel like I got pushed out of the picture.
She did.
Their relationship just skyrocketed that day. Dutch was I don't know what happened before he got to the shelter. Because he was almost right around 6 months.
The day we adopted him was his 6-month birthday.
Because you had to pay more because he was 6 months.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happened before he got to the shelter, but he was already a skittish type of dog. He was a very crouch in the corner, don't touch me type of dog.
Had terrible mange.
Yeah. Oh, poor baby.
Didn't have hair on his ears.
Nope. We'll definitely post pictures too.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have pictures. But the nice people that work there, they put you into a room, but it was pretty nice outside. So we went outside with them too. And she had actually commented on the fact that Dutch didn't act like that with anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, he went straight up to Tyler and loved on him and sat near him. And
yep. Whenever we first got into that room, she said normally whenever they would take him out, he would go and hide under the chairs. Well, me and Gracie sat on the floor, and he came right up to me and sat in my lap, and she was like, I've never seen him do that with anybody. And then when we went outside, he played with us, ran around. She's like, he's never done that. So I think that was our sign that, like, this is our boy. Like, this is our dude. And turns out when we adopted him, I actually had pneumonia and bronchitis.
In the picture that I'm going to post when we first adopted him, you're going to see Tyler looks like death, and I looked like I was post-drunk. Like, you could tell that we were both, like, not feeling the best that day.
The word for that is hungover, baby.
I couldn't think of it.
Post-drunk. What I'm going to start saying.
That's what people are going to start saying
Are you hungover?
Post-drunk.
No, I'm post-drunk.
I couldn't think of it. You can tell from our picture,
Yeah.
it is not the best picture. Our one with Belle is a lot cuter.
Yeah. But so it was tough. And then Gracie, like 2 weeks after we got him, 3 weeks maybe, had to go back to school.
Yeah.
And I was still sick because I wound up getting the flu and strep throat on top of pneumonia and bronchitis. And I was down for like a month. Like, I was out of work for like a month. And, you know, if it wouldn't have been for Dutch being there after Gracie had left, I mean, he sat there with me every single day. I mean, he laid with me. He checked on me. You know, he was the reason that I was getting up, even though I was sick as hell, is I was like, okay, he needs me. I've got to feed him. I've got to take him out. Turned out I needed him more than he needed me.
Yeah.
But, you know, he turned into my boy. We had some issues there in the beginning with...
Yeah, that was rough, and I wasn't even there for it. That was rough.
He had some really bad separation anxiety. Whenever we first got him, we would keep him in my room of the house we were renting with some friends, and he destroyed the door frame trying to get out. And I had to replace the door frame and everything when we moved out, but... I mean, yeah, and we even got him crates, and he kept getting out of the crates.
Tell him about the bar that you...
Oh my gosh, we got one of the, like the plastic crates that have the
it's like
gate.
Enclosed crates.
Right.
Not the wired.
And, I put two pieces of rebar in the front of that I drilled out a hole in the sides so that it ran through there in front of the door. So that he couldn't push the door open.
Because he kept pushing the door open with his face.
He knew how to flip the handle with his nose and push it open. And so we did that and zip tied the whole thing shut all the way around where it just clips together. We zip tied it shut. This dude still managed to get out.
No, he busted his face.
Busted his face getting out. Like, scrap. I mean,
his blood all over his face.
Yeah, I came home for lunch that day, and from work, and there was blood like from everywhere, and I was like freaking out. I was like, "What in the world happened?" And I finally found Dutch laid up. He was, curled up on my bed, shaking, and I could see the gash in his nose. So I had to go take care of that, and then we went to. I don't even remember what I got him. I got him something else from the pet company or the pet store, but yeah, that was rough. We had to eventually get him put on Prozac just to get him calm enough whenever we left. He wasn't tearing stuff up.
We talked to the vet I was so worried. So when I came back home, because I'm the vet person. Let's face it, that's my job at this point. We talked to the vet and we talked about separation anxiety and. Like, they were talking about classes, and I was like, you don't understand. Like, he physically hurt himself.
Yeah.
And so, they talked about putting him on Prozac. We talked about it, because that's big for a dog to go on something like that.
And it was, at first, it was the same milligram Prozac I was taking.
Yeah, they were able to switch. Like, they
Yeah.
were taking the same milligram amount, which was insane to me. But overall, that was Dutch's harsh period. Then we moved out, and we were getting our own place. Right before that, while they were finishing up our house, we stayed with his grandparents, who lived a couple of seconds away. Like, it's all family land. So, Dutch is now known as the blind eater.
Yeah.
Because he had chewed up one set of his grandparents' blinds so he could see out.
Yeah.
He's okay in a free range house. If he's not enclosed, he's perfect. He doesn't chew things up. He doesn't take out trash. He doesn't do any of that crazy stuff. If he can see out of the house, he's good. Well, they're old school. They closed their blinds and stuff, so that he chewed up their blinds. So we had to replace those.
And whenever
I was gonna say,
Mama fell.
oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we were gone somewhere, and my grandma fell, and Dutch was the one that alerted Grandy, and got Grandy's attention. And he was pacing back and forth, and like didn't know what to do. And he's just
He's a good dog.
He is. I'm telling you, if it was possible for dogs to speak, like actually speak, he would be speaking English, like perfect English. Probably even Chinese and Japanese too. I don't know. And German, because he's part German Shepherd.
Oh God.
Just saying.
So going back, we moved into our house, and we had actually gone through a blind company. Like, it was the nice, thick, wooden-ish, like paneling white blinds.
We spent.
It was like $1,000.
$1,500 on blinds for the whole house.
Yeah. And they were beautiful, and I was like, it's an investment. Like, we wanted nice blinds. And so we knew that we were pulling them up, so we pulled up a couple because of the whole thing. Then we came home, and he had still chewed some up. So, we kind of learned our lesson. Blinds were just a no-go in our family.
This was the first time in my life, and only time in my life, that I ever told Gracie we're getting rid of him.
Oh, you were pissed.
I was. He
was pissed. And I was like, it's not that big of a deal. It's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. We lived with it. It's fine. Since then, because that was, 2019? He has not tore up a blind. He has not... Literally, the only thing that he does is he'll mess up my bed to burrow into it, which he's trying to do right now. And he will... If I get him, if your dog loves, like, the squeaker toys, but I hate the, like, high squeak. I like the low squeak for them. There's a hedgehog porcupine thing at Walmart. And when I tell you that is, like, his ultimate... I'm sorry for the laughter. I told you Dutch was messing up the bed. He moves everything away from him, and then he'll curl up. Well, he just pushed all of the covers on top of Rocky. But yeah, so anyways, long story short, Dutch is just perfect. And he smells like a dream. Like, he does not get dirty.
Yeah.
He cleans his paws.
Oh my gosh, he is like princess.
He smells like a fireplace.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, y'all. And also, you know some of our stories with Belle, which we'll get into a little more deep in detail, but Dutch doesn't cost me money.
Yeah.
Except for the blinds.
Oh, yeah. But we've learned how to avoid that.
Yeah. So, and he's just perfect. We love him so much. But we are going to move on to our princess.
Yeah.
So I will
let... Are we forgetting anything important about Dutch?
Did I forget anything?
I'm trying to think. Whenever we took him off of Prozac.
Oh, well, that's because...
That's a good thing to talk about, though.
Yeah, that's true. So, I want to say it was 2019. It was... Okay, so but COVID...
Well, it was 2020 because you were working from home.
Yeah, I was starting to do that in 2019 for Miller Mont already. Maybe he was still on it, though, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was later in 2020.
Okay, so in 2020, 2019 rolled around, COVID-19 happened. My job went remote for a very short period of time. Loved it, so I found a job that was fully remote all the time. And so in 2020, we were like, well, you're always here, and the only time we're gone is when we go out for maybe like a date night or something. And then he also had Belle now. He wasn't by himself. So we decided to take him off Prozac, asked the vet about it, and when I tell you, changed dog. It was crazy, right? How he went from kind of like a, not moody, what's the word you would call it?
Zombified.
Yeah. And now he, now he like plays, he jumps, he runs, he like plays with his siblings. Like he's just.
He's put on a ton of. He went from like 43-ish pounds to what is he now? 71, 72?
Nah, he's probably gained more at this point. He's probably on the higher side of 70s.
Yeah. So.
He's filled out a lot. Like it's insane, picture to picture.
Yeah.
It's crazy what it looks like.
Yeah. And then the first time we took a trip in the RV, oh my gosh, he about caused us to wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had never ridden in it before. We didn't know like you know, how the dogs would react. Well, Dutch tried to, as we were coming out of our driveway and turned onto the road and we're getting ready to turn onto the highway, Dutch jumps into my lap. And like I'm trying to drive. I mean, if you know, like I said, Dutch is high 70s. Like
he's a big boy now.
Yeah, and he was in my lap, and I'm like trying, and Gracie's trying to get him off of me, and like, so he kind of, I don't know, how would you describe the way he acts when we travel?
Stressed out.
Yeah.
Honestly, he got better because we were traveling for so long. He got acclimated to traveling, which I knew was going to have to happen with all of them. But the way that a Class C works is, I mean, it's going to make noise. It's going to vibrate on the bottom. And so their home essentially gets squished together because both slides come in. So his home gets squished together and he's not going to not be near us because the bed would be really comfortable for him to be on. But he won't lay back there. So he sits, we actually had to buy a net that goes from seat to seat in the RV at the front. And the net kind of protects them from coming all the way up there, but they can still see us. They can touch us if they need to. So we had to purchase that so that way they were safe too on the road.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of Dutch's like the funniest things about him, if number one, if he lets you touch him in the face, you are instantly trusted. Like he hardly lets Gracie touch him in the face.
He said there's a handful of people.
Yeah.
That's because he gets a hair up his butt, but that's fine. It'd be Tyler, me, Daddy for sure.
Yeah.
My dad and Dutch are super close. I have a funny looking picture of them two together.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the day, I would have said Sarah, but they haven't seen each other in so long. I don't know how he would react because he used to stay with Sarah.
Yeah.
Like if we traveled or something, and then I don't know about my mom anymore either because it's been forever since they've
She
seen
never
each other.
really because in the beginning, the only reason he lets your dad touch his face now is because when your dad lived with us, he got close to your dad. He never really let your dad touch his face before he moved in with us.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably honestly, I'm talking like 3-4 people. You know what? Dutch will let Taylor. Totally will let Taylor, which is Captain's mom. Yeah. But that is honestly the line. I don't even know about Taylor anymore because they haven't seen each other forever either. So.
Yeah, he's very particular, and I've seen there are certain like kids he'll let touch his face too.
Trenton, Brian, Jackson. Yeah. If they're not being too loud. Yeah. Gannon.
100% Gannon.
Gannon and him grew up together too.
Yeah.
That probably.
I think whenever he meets Olivia, he'll let her. Mm-hmm. Kirsten, he lets Kirsten, as long as she's not screaming and yelling. Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, as far as, like, camper life in general, Dutch has really been probably the easiest adjustment.
Best, except for his hair. He's a German Shepherd Chow mix, and he has the thickest hair on the planet. Yeah. I have to pick at his butt sometimes, like the edges of his butt, because he gets mats right there. And so I either have to comb it out, or, like, you can tell where it's starting to thicken up and trying to mat. And so I pick out the parts.
She does.
I like it.
So
It's funny. It's like a ASMR
yeah,
thing.
but yeah, I mean, like he has adjusted well. I think like Gracie said, the biggest thing is the hair, but I mean that's kind of an us problem, not a him problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's move on to baby girl Belle.
All right. Well, so first of all, we don't really know what Belle's mixed with. We actually also rescued Belle.
Yeah.
She came from. Okay. I had been begging Tyler for another dog for a while. And he kept telling me, no, 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 no. Well, come out of the freaking blue, he was looking at dogs without me and found Belle and pretty much was like, meet me here.
I
That's
had
essentially what it was.
I had emailed with them and set up an appointment and told Gracie. I just said, "Hey, meet me here."
Yep.
I don't even know if I told you it was for a dog.
I really can't remember.
I don't think I did. I think I just
I
told
was
you to meet
coming
me there.
from work.
Yeah.
I was still dressed from work that day. But we like to tell everyone Belle is what we think she is because I don't think the rescue. It wasn't a shelter. It was like a rescue company.
Yeah, it was a rescue league, is what they called themselves. They told us that she was German Shepherd Pit.
But we don't think she is.
No, I mean she's got the German Shepherd coloring 100%, and the ears.
But I really think that's not. She might have a little bit somewhere in her line, but she definitely has a little bit of the skinny pit face, not the big pit face. And we like to say that she's part whippet. Yeah. Because when you watch Belle run, she runs like one of the...
Like a greyhound.
Like when you see in dog races, like the greyhound. It's insane how she runs. And people comment on it all the time.
And then whenever she's playing, she looks like a deer because she pounces or prances.
She prances around. So that's what we call our little baby Belle. And everybody calls her Belle, Princess, or Baby Belle, or Bells.
Yep. I call her Nobel Prize.
Yeah, when we say Nobel, that's what we end up saying. How do I start this? So we got her in 2019. We were already living in our house. So she was the second dog that we got in the house. Belle was freaking cute. Oh my god. She was so cute. Her and Dutch, because Dutch hadn't been around other dogs and been super playful. He would play with Captain every once in a while, but not like crazy, right? So he absolutely adored Belle because she was smaller. And then my mom at the time had actually gotten a dog, or had Callan. She got Callan when we got Dutch.
Right about the time we got Dutch, yeah.
So Callan and Dutch were like brother or cousins, I guess, essentially.
Yeah.
And Belle kind of just fit in and absolutely adored Callan. So I've got pictures and videos of them playing. Content all week coming to you next week.
Yeah.
Because I have a ton of it. But I saw them playing with each other. I mean, it was just the cutest thing. And Belle just kind of like fit right in, to be honest.
Yeah.
She really did.
She did. And she also doesn't like female dogs, but loves Callan. Or loves
the
Callan.
only female dog that she likes is Callan.
Yeah. But
Callan did pass this year.
Yeah.
So she's no longer with us. She had cancer.
But Belle has been like our problem child.
Oh boy, has she.
So when we first got her, she was not in the best of homes. This was a very small house. They did have a big backyard, but it was a small house. Yeah, it was all dirt. Small house, and in the kitchen, this house had, I think, eight dogs.
I didn't go in.
Yeah.
I stayed in the backyard the entire time.
They had crates stacked on top of crates, and they would have to pick up the dogs to put them in their crates at night to let them sleep. Like, it was terrible. And so whenever she started getting older and she started filling out, we noticed her tail looked weird.
It still looks funky.
It does. Because apparently whenever she was little, she was sat on a lot or something like that, and it displaced one of her vertebrae in her tail, so it causes it to look funny, and she can't wag it right.
We asked the vet. Nothing's wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to hurt her, doesn't hurt her or anything like that. But it's funny, if you ever see her, and because she's always wagging her tail, instead of almost like a side to side swift motion, it's kind of like it cracks. It's almost like a whoppy jawed swift. It's funny to look at. I totally forget about that because it's just normal now to see it.
Yeah, and then there was, oh gosh, what was it, 2021? I think it was 2021. Maybe it was 2020. Somebody decided to play with a copperhead and got bit in the face.
You don't know that's what it was. I mean, that's probably what it was, but because that's all we had around us. We've seen them multiple times at the house.
Well, that was really the only poisonous snake around us.
True. Yeah, she did. And before that, she played with a bee. Do you remember that?
When she got stung in the mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She played with a bee, got stung in the mouth, and then the snake. Oh my! And the vet couldn't tell us if that's what it was because of where it was on her face, because it was right above her. It was a couple of inches above her eyeball.
And her face was so swollen that they couldn't tell if there was any puncture wounds or anything.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna post pictures of that.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was terrible. And
she had a drain tube in her head.
Yep. And thank God I was working from home.
Yeah.
We kept her on the couch, and she's fine now.
She was
miserable.
But
if you really look at her head now, you can still see where the drain tube was.
Yeah.
She was so sad. That was just our first incident with Belle. We've talked about this briefly on here, and I'm gonna take this one.
Well, hold on.
We're twinsies.
Let's before we get into that, something else she did with animals was we were all sitting on the back porch. I think it was me, you. Remember who else was there?
I think this is Dad and Mom were there.
I think so. And she was running around the yard, and we started hearing a squeaking. And I was like...
Sounded like a squeaker toy.
Yeah. So I went out there, and I was like going to play with her, because I thought maybe it was a ball or something, because I didn't see anything hanging out her mouth. Well, she opens her mouth, and there's a daggone baby rabbit.
I'm talking baby rabbit the size of smaller than a computer mouse.
Like in your palm.
It was still in its... We found the nest. It was still in its little nest by the tree.
Yeah.
And all the other rabbits ran away.
Yeah. And Belle, she wasn't trying to hurt it. She just wanted to play with it. She wasn't squeezing it. She
didn't kill it.
She was literally just carrying it in her mouth.
Yeah.
But
it probably died after we let it go.
Yeah, because its mom probably wouldn't have come back.
Yeah.
Because they typically don't if they have another smell like that on them.
So, I feel bad. But, it is what it is. Circle of life.
Yeah.
Now, moving on. Me and Belle are twins.
Yes.
So...
Double twins.
Yeah. So, I have torn both of my ACLs. Story for another time. Belle has also torn both of her ACLs. So, like we told you, she's a runner. She's a track star. I couldn't help it. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
A song?
No.
Okay, never mind.
The only song I think of during this episode is "Who Let the Dogs Out?" Who?
But she likes to run. She likes to play. She's she's an agile dog for sure.
Yeah.
Well, she was. Oh my God, I don't even remember the first one anymore. How did she tear her first one? Oh. So we had a lot of, like I said, a lot of family land, and I was very big about going either to the backyard or the front yard, and playing with the dogs. Dutch and Belle are stick babies. Like we have inside toys, and we had like
Rocky's becoming one too.
I know. And we had like we said, we had inside toys, but we also had like balls and stuff.
Yeah.
Specific outside toys that stayed in the backyard. But when I went out to the front yard, because there was more space to run out there, and they weren't going anywhere, I would throw sticks. They love sticks. They play with sticks now, but. Dutch and Belle were running after a stick together, and she was coming back to me, and she yelped. I remember it.
Because I wasn't there for that one.
And I didn't know what it was. I thought she maybe just kind of stepped on something wrong, and she was fine. She ran some more. She was good. And then a couple of weeks passed, and it's got collectively and progressively worse.
She was limping and...
Yeah, and I was like, well, maybe it'll pass. We thought maybe it was just like a sore muscle or she just pulled something.
Like that, yeah.
Nothing, it was not going away whatsoever. So, we ended up taking her to the vet. They confirmed it was a torn ACL. That was, I want to say that was December. That was in December. Um,
December of 2022.
Yep.
Yeah, because she was healing as we, but because we pushed off moving into the RV because she had that surgery.
Yep. So that was December of 2022. If you have ever had a dog, listeners, ever had a dog with a torn ACL, that is a whole extra job. That's a job.
And go ahead and get prepared for it twice.
So, yeah, because I mean, our vets are amazing. Shout out to Cape Side and Leland, North Carolina, because they are phenomenal. They pretty much told us there were options for what to get her. We got her the best option for her because she likes to run. And I mean, the surgeon and the vet, two different things, told us, they're like, look, a lot of the times if they tear one, they're gonna tear the other. Which, honestly, if a human does the same thing and they tear their ACL, that you are likely to tear your other one. You just automatically put more weight, and if you're still doing the same activities that you were doing when you tore your first one, it's the same premise, like it's the same idea.
Yeah.
So
you sound like you have experience from that.
Yeah, I do. So, anyways, tore her first one. It takes a dog about anywhere from 3 to 6 months to recover, depending on how well they do.
Yeah, and it took her the full 6
It
months.
did. We actively iced, we heated. That was hard. It's not a human where you can say, hey, you've got to sit down and do this for 20 minutes. It was, you had to collectively take time out of your day, sit on the couch with her, keep her occupied while you made sure she iced and she heated. And they also give you stretches to do with your dog.
Yeah.
Once they're able to start moving their legs. I can't imagine a reactive dog, because Belle would never hurt us.
Yeah.
Belle doesn't bite anything. She just doesn't do that. But I cannot imagine a reactive dog where you're having to like stretch out their torn ligament that's had surgery and they bite you.
Mm-hmm.
They do tell you, they're like, hey, be prepared. The cone was a disaster.
Oh gosh.
The cone was awful.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for her.
We finally got her the inflatable neck thing.
Yeah, we had to.
Yeah.
And then she also had to have a strap. The strap goes underneath her tummy, and it's very long. It's got two handles at the top. You essentially lift her, especially for the first little while. We essentially lifted her up.
Yeah.
And then progressively you're able to like let go, and she can it's more like taking the weight bearing part of it so she can still walk on it.
Yeah.
That was, taking them out was like a nightmare. And thank God we only had Dutch and Belle at the time.
Yeah.
Then she recovered from that. I was very hesitant to let her run around and play with other people. I didn't like it. She was supposed to wait anywhere from about 4 to 5 months before she touched another dog playing with them. And that was if we were ready for her to do that, and I was so not.
Yeah.
Well, what'd she do?
We were in Greensboro for Lance's birthday and your mom and James's.
That was in October.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when she tore the second one.
Okay.
Because she had surgery in December, right before we left, because we had to push
Oh,
the trip.
maybe the first one was in May, not December. Maybe I got them confused. I said the first one was in December. Because they were 6 months. They were 6 months.
Maybe that's the... Yeah,
that makes more... May, June, July, August, September, October. That makes more sense.
Okay, yeah.
So, my mom had 2 dogs. One was Callan, and now the new one is Mac. He's adorable.
Maxter.
So, Mac he was a rescue too. He's a freaking cute. But he's a big boy too. And I really think him and Belle would get along. They haven't even really had the chance to really play together because just life. But, we went on it was kind of like a bachelorette trip / birthday trip. And we brought our family is a bring the dog kind of type. Wherever we go, we're getting a pet friendly place because we're bringing the puppies. They were playing outside on this, like in a big grassy area, and Belle yelped. And I was stressing already. I was like sweat stressing about her playing like that because she hadn't done that yet.
Yeah.
Like, I had let her run independently to start strengthening those muscles a lot, but that was the first time with another dog.
Yeah.
And I looked at when she yelped, I probably looked like a fucking ghost. I looked at my mom because she was standing right there beside me, and I don't even know if you were out.
I
Were you out
I
there?
ran to Belle because she stopped running.
My mom
she
was
fell
like,
down.
"It's fine," and I was like, "Oh my god," my heart fucking dropped, and I was like, "It happened again," and I stressed, and she was limping the entire rest of the time, and I was like, "That's exactly what freaking happened."
Yeah.
So when we got back, we took her to the vet, and they confirmed it. Well, we had everything from the last time, so
Yeah.
I like to tell her that she's our $60 dog that turned into a 12, probably with all the surgery she's had, including the snake bite. She's probably at probably around 10 to 12 grand.
Yeah.
Put into her
Easy.
at this point. Each surgery was anywhere from 4 to 5.
Yeah. I think they were both around 5.
And then
the snake bite was about 3,500.
So, yeah, she's my little expensive baby. But honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
So now she's recovered. She runs all the time. She plays all the time.
She would limp a little bit, but she's kind of gotten
still,
out of that.
She's still like if I let her run hard.
But it's not as often.
Right. I'm talking like hard for her. She will sometimes come back and limp a little bit. But honestly, I think that's just, shoot, even when I still work, it's been over 10 years for me. And even when I work out, I still get sore. Like, it is what it is. You had surgery there, it's going to happen. That's really Belle for RV. I'll let you take that over. I feel like I talked a lot about the ACL stuff.
When we moved into the RV, Belle and I got really close. I like to sleep in the living room underneath the fan a lot. So sometimes, like Gracie, if she can't get comfortable, whenever I fall asleep, she'll go into the bedroom.
I'm good now because of what we did.
Yeah.
But
Belle would always sleep with me. Every time the other two dogs would go sleep with Gracie, Belle would sleep with me.
Yeah.
Whenever I would go to the gas station, she would ride with me. And then whenever I was working at the previous place, she would go to the office with me and meet all the guests and everything. So her and I have gotten really, really close. She's adjusted well.
She's a daddy's girl now. She definitely was not.
No, she was a mama's girl.
It was Dutch with Tyler and Belle with me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was like. And it is so not that way anymore.
Yep. So yeah, she had her surgery in December, but right before she had her surgery in November.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You go ahead.
We were in Mayberry, and we had just got there. It was late. It was raining. We couldn't hook up the water that night.
That's right. It wasn't working.
Yeah. And so I was just laying on the couch, chilling out, and Gracie had called. I think Brittany had called you, right?
She messaged me on Facebook first and said it was really important, and
That's
then
right.
I had gotten her on the phone and we talked. I'll go ahead. So she had moved in with her sister just due to some personal things, and
this is Gracie's late brother's wife at the time. Yeah.
Obviously, he's passed, so she's remarried. But so she's my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And so before my brother passed, he had actually gotten a full-blooded pit. My chunky Rocky.
Not just before he passed,
but he got
in
Rocky
2015.
He got Rocky when Rocky was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So as soon as he could leave the mom, he got Rocky.
Yeah. And the first time I met Rocky, me and him cuddled up on the couch and went to sleep.
Rocky is the dog that you have your neighbors, your strangers, your family, your friends, everybody meets and they want to take him home.
Mm-hmm.
That's him,
Mm-hmm.
in a nutshell. He is the cuddliest baby. I'm talking like human baby you could ever think a dog could be. He sleeps on his back. Oh wait, I'm getting off track. Sorry.
Yeah, we gotta tell about how we got him.
All right, so Brittany is her name. Brittany called me and What had happened was she moved in with her sister, and we were up in Mount Airy. So we were about 4.5 hours away. This was our first trip in the RV, mind you. So we were...
No, this wasn't
Oh,
our
no,
first
second.
trip.
I'm sorry. Right?
Third.
Okay, it doesn't
The second one was the one with the Jeep coming
That's
off.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, this was, we were 4.5 hours away, and she essentially told me what had happened was one of her nieces, so the sister she was living with, one of her nieces had gotten bit by Rocky. And I found this a little odd, not gonna lie, because...
Not bit, but nipped.
Nipped. In the face, no less. But I found this odd because Brittany had 3 boys. She's now got 2 more kids as well. I'm sorry, wait. Yeah. And so these 3 boys are rambunctious. They're wild. They used to ride on Rocky. Like, Rocky's not used to little kids. Like, that's what he's only known his entire life, and he's protective over all of them. So I was like, that makes no sense. What? Well, I know from the past from meeting this little girl. She's a sweetheart. Don't get me wrong. She is it's the cutest little thing. But I also know that it's not bad about her, but I know she has some tendencies as a kid that probably shouldn't be there. And I have a feeling, I didn't ask, because it wasn't going to change my decision.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling Rocky was probably provoked into protection mode. Anyway, so Brittany was like, I'm riding around with Rocky right now because I can't have him there. And I don't know where to take him. And I told her, I was like, I'm 4.5 hours away. So I called my mom and I told her, this is what's going on. And Tyler was like, we'll keep him.
Gracie. Well, after she got off the phone with Brittany, I was sitting there on my phone. She looked over and she says, "Hey, can we keep Rocky?" I said yes, on the condition that we never give him back.
Yeah, that was it. So I called my mom and I said, "Hey, I gave her the rundown. This is what's going on. Can you please keep Rocky until we get back from Mount Airy?" Because I think we were staying up there for just a few days. Like, it
was for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
With your dad's side of the family.
It wasn't gonna be just but a few days. So my mom said yes, of course. Told Brittany. They met. My mom got Rocky. They kept him for a few days for us, and then he came to live with us. So that is how we got our little chunky monkey. Looking at him right now, he's so cute.
Yeah.
So we've always said that if anything were to ever happen with Rocky, that he was supposed to go to me or my mom. It just kind of made more sense for him to come with us. And Tyler's right. One of the conditions that I had told Brittany, I was like, if I take him, I'm not giving him back. When you get moved out of your sister's house and you get your own place, I'm not giving him back. I'm not going to move him from home to home to home to home. And I'm not doing that to him. So she agreed to it. Yeah. And that was that. We got him chipped. Yeah. And he's in our name at the vet. He's ours.
All of his shots done. He's current on everything.
He's never been to the vet.
Yeah.
Now, granted, before my brother passed, my brother actually gave him all of his shots. Yeah. So he did that. So it's not like he's never had that. But since my brother passed in 2020, I know you're right. Even before then, I know he was giving him the shots when, that was 2017, 2018. Yeah. I know he was doing it then, because he was living with mom at that point. But between 2019 and 2020, I don't know when the last time he had anything was. Anyways, he's never truly been to the vet, so we took him to the vet, and I was like, I don't know when the last time he's had anything is. I know he hasn't probably had his rabies the way he should have. So we got him like the full workup. And let me tell you something, for a dog, that's why I find this hard to believe, is because of the whole little kid to Rocky situation. This boy has never been to the vet. The vets had to do everything under the sun to him,
including a rectal exam.
And he didn't growl, he didn't bite, he licked.
Yeah.
He loved on the vet techs.
He has snapped at me a couple times whenever he thought I was hurting Gracie.
Like if Tyler comes to like
Tickle you.
play fight or tickle.
Especially if I'm tickling you.
Yeah. And it sounds like I'm in distress. He doesn't even bite. It's like a warning snap.
Yeah.
Like he like nips close to you, so he's like back the F up.
Yeah.
But we got him. It was something where I was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, we've had to do certain things. Like whenever I'm tickling her or playing with her, I'll pet him or she'll pet him to like so that he knows we're all good.
Yeah.
So I mean he's, and like I said, I mean but I would rather him do that than not do that in those instances, because to me, he's protecting you, and that means if somebody comes in here and he knows you're in distress, he's gonna protect you.
Yeah, I really think that's what, like, he gets into his.
He was probably protecting the boys,
and that's what it was. He was and Brittany. Him and Brittany got close.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He
and Chris.
Yeah, he protects the people that he's staying with.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't know. That's my baby.
He adapted well to RV life, except for pushing out the screen on the door.
He claws, and I've seen him do it. I can hear him do it and see him do it.
He has terrible separation anxiety too.
He does. And he wants to be close and touching something at all. When I tell you that there is not a time, pretty much ever, unless he's laying on his back on the pillow like a human, for real.
Yeah.
There's not a time where he's not touching Dutch, Belle, me, or Tyler.
Yeah.
Ever. So he doesn't like.
He's touching Belle right now.
Yep. He doesn't like to be alone, and I think that comes from
never being alone.
He was never alone. Brittany has pretty much spaced out her boys enough where she's always home.
And the boys, one of the boys was
always home.
Yeah.
So it just got to the point where he can't be alone. So whenever he hears us, he'll start scratching at the screen door on the RV, and it just and he tears it.
Yeah.
So we've got to combat that.
Yeah.
But other than that, Rocky doesn't.
No, he's great. I mean,
Rocky doesn't do anything.
We were kind of nervous about.
Except for the table. If we have, we have two couches out that make shift a bed in the living room, which Tyler was telling you about earlier.
I love it.
Rocky is short.
Yeah.
He's a short baby. So he can get up on top of, like, in the table seats if the bed's out. Which actually, because it's getting hot here in North Carolina, that it's out.
Yeah. Because it's right under the AC.
Yeah. So if we leave anything pretty much paper related or food type related, Rocky will get up here and eat it all.
Yeah.
We left the little dog bakery cookies.
Oh yeah.
Out. Like, it was pretty much a whole thing. He
opened the whole thing.
He opened the entire thing, and I'm guessing all three of the dogs just shared in on the experience and ate them.
You know what you forgot to talk about?
What?
So we'll go back to this one thing and we'll wrap it up because I think we covered Rocky. Belle and your shoes.
I've probably missed out on 10 to 15 pairs of shoes because of Belle. If I leave a pair of Tyler's shoes out and a pair of my shoes out next to Tyler's, Belle will freaking eat mine. She'll chew them the F up before she'll touch Tyler's. In our house, in the RV, I've actively been working on not leaving them out, but, like, it was something we learned way ahead of time. But I still accidentally will leave a couple out. She's torn up both pairs of my Hey Dudes since we've been in the RV. I have no more Hey Dudes. It makes me very sad.
Yeah. Sweet girl.
Yeah, sweet girl. It's fine.
But, anyway, that's the story about our pups.
Yeah.
And
sorry,
you know what?
It went every which way.
It did.
We hope you like that because, honestly, with our dogs, that's just how it is.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, we joke around with people like, yeah, we don't know what we were thinking with two grown adults and 3 full-size dogs and a 30-foot RV, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
No, these are my babies.
Yeah. And,
can't imagine it without them.
We've always said that having Rocky with us is like having a little piece of Christian. And, it's Rocky's last hurrah. He gets to travel around the world and see new places and...
That's right.
Yeah. Arr! Arr! Arr!
Come here.
Well, everybody, this has been us. This has been the dogs. That's Rocky. And we just want to say, we love you
so much.
Who lives in RV, traveling estates, adventure with coffee. Driving dink all over the place, adventure with coffee. With 3 pups who are cuddly as can be, adventure with coffee. The happiest little traveling family, adventure with coffee. Adventure with coffee, adventure with coffee, adventure with coffee. Until next time.